Welcome back. Hey, we want to get another look at that weather for you this evening. Look at this. We're seeing heavy rain, lightning, and thunder across the Wasatch Front. This is just outside our ABC4 studio. You can see how hard some of those raindrops are crashing down. You've probably noticed it on your drive to or from work today. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Alana Brophy again this evening. Alana, what a start to the work week so far.
Well, Sarah, we knew this moisture was in place, and yes, the weather capitalizing on that. We're taking a live view from Pleasant Grove, where we've got soggy evening commute conditions, and this stretch near Orem and Lehigh seeing some heavier rainfall right now, but we're really dealing with it along the Wasatch Front, and that continues. How about Heber getting walloped? Look at this inch-sized hail reported with the storms rolling through the backside of the Wasatch. Thank you so much to Rob for sharing that with us. That is a rare sight. We don't usually see hail that big in the Beehive State. When we do, we take note. Looking at the forewarned radar, we've got really active conditions out there in northern Utah, the West Desert, which means we stay active into tonight, central Utah and south central Utah. Let's get a little closer. Salt Lake City still dealing with pockets of heavier rain downtown. Gusty winds and that moisture really just dropped. It was heavy downpours. Also staying active for the Wasatch back. We're watching I-80 towards Evanston because that's where these strong storms have tracked towards. Getting a little closer in northern Utah. Bear Lake getting hit hard. There's that I-80 stretch. This does include places like Morgan, Hennifer, Park City. And then we're jumping down towards that area. Linden, Highland, Orem. Heavier rain starting to clear Lehigh, but we have a flash flood warning in effect. We'll talk a little more about that here in just a moment. In central Utah, it's Manti, Ephraim, Richfield, Beaver, and then down towards Hanksville, where we've got a cell putting down a lot of lightning near Capitol Reef and the surrounding areas. Jumping further south into southern Utah, Kane County is going to see a storm roll through here. It's a severe thunderstorm warning in Nevada. It's going to move into Utah, packing 55-mile-per-hour winds. So a heads up for a portion of King County towards Lake Powell tonight. All right, let's talk about that flash flood warning because it does impact Eagle Mountain, Camp Williams, Saratoga Springs. We saw an abundance of moisture. It started to urban flood quickly. That flash flood warning stays in effect. Have to remind you, you don't want to be driving through these floodwaters. I know this comes on quickly and a lot of folks want to get home, but you've got to be careful. Utah County holding on to that an inch to an inch and a half. These are some preliminary totals when it comes to the rainfall. We just saw Salina getting an inch and a half, over an inch at I-70. Harriman, Vernon over in Tooele County, one of the first areas to see those severe thunderstorms rolling through this afternoon, and over an inch in Monticello, Lake Point, Beaver, Heber, Magna, Draper getting half an inch. It came on quickly, and wet weather potential holds steady as we get through the next several hours. So heading into tonight, nocturnal showers and storms will be sticking around for the Wasatch Front. We have a lot of moisture potential, and we've got several pulses of energy coming from the west that are going to aid in storm development. Live view from Utah Lake. Okay, Utah County staying very, very active and gloomy. Temperatures have drastically dropped. Can we talk about the 60s for a moment? 67 in Salt Lake, upper 60s in Ogden, low 70s in Provo, low 60s in Heber, 98 in St. George. So we've got a bit of a smorgasbord when it comes to numbers, but that wet weather really knocking temperatures down. The 24-hour temperature change tells the story. 25 degrees cooler than where we were at this point yesterday. That's what a strong storm will do, folks. 18 degrees cooler in places like Provo, more than 10 degrees in Delta. As we get through tonight, we're going to stay on the cooler side as this moisture sticks around. We've seen some gusty winds in Salt Lake and Provo associated with these storms, 33-mile-per-hour. Wind gusts in Cedar City. As we look at precipitation potential heading into tomorrow, I'm going to get out of the way because you see that ridge of high pressure. Now that southerly flow is pushing moisture into the state, and we're getting disturbances coming from the west, and that means our storm threat holds on into Tuesday. That marginal risk expanded. That's where we could see isolated severe storms. It once again includes the Wasatch Front. So forewarning you now, Tuesday stays active. Futurecast keeps things going as we head into tonight. Here we are by 8 p.m. with West Desert storms, and we continue from Duchesne County into central Utah. Another round for the Wasatch Front after ABC4 News at 10, and the threat of storms hangs into tomorrow with moisture potential there. By noon, you're going to watch as these storms gear up, track through Castle Country once again. Isolated activity for the Wasatch Front into our Tuesday, and then that more westerly flow will start to bring in drier air. Flash flood potential is probable in several locations into tomorrow, including Bryce Bryce Canyon and Capitol Reef. We've got 80s. Okay, that's a cool down. I mean, I guess we went back to school and we have to feel like it a little bit. 90s in Moab, 80s in Cedar, triple digits expected in St. George. Whereas we take a look at the next 7 days, isolated thunderstorms expected in southern Utah, triple digits return after a cool down. And then we check the Wasatch Front, where you're going to notice those numbers climbing as we dry out. And it's just been a really interesting start to the work week. You know, that monsoon moisture comes through. We get some big storms, and just like that, we all have to drive in the rain. Some of us forget.
Yes, got to slow down a little bit. It is a little slippery out there.